I take it we are getting it mended. I'm looking. Sorry. Well done, Roger. Okay. Good evening, everyone, and a happy new year to you. I hope you all had a good Christmas and that you didn't all have flu. But it seemed to me like everybody I spoke to had flu. So I hope you didn't all have it. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Is it okay for me to sign off the published report of the meeting of the 2nd of December? I don't suppose you can remember anything that happened at that, can you? But is it all right for me to sign that as a true record? Thank you. Remind members about section 106. I'm assuming I've got some disclosures of interest for the private papers. Yeah, okay, thank you. And we have an item in not covered by the current forward plan, which is the Luton Plain pitch strategy. And over to you, Peter.
Thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone. This report provides an update on the refresh of the Luton play pitch strategy and the indoor built facility strategy. The PPS and the IBFS sits beneath the Council Sports and Physical Activity Strategy, which adopts a whole systems approach to reduce the prevalence of physical inactivity and aims to ensure everyone in Luton has the opportunity to be active. The PPS and IFS will also seek to improve health and well-being outcomes, such as supporting the healthy weight and physical activity agenda, with Luton having high obesity inactivity rates when compared with the England average as identified in Luton's annual public health report, whilst also contributing to the wider strategic vision of Luton 2040 around tackling inequalities through driving increase in participation. Sport England set out clear guidance on PPS, IBFS for local authorities. These strategies support the planning and provision of informal and formal opportunities to everyone to take part in sport and physical activity. The executive is recommended to note the play pitch strategy and indoor built facility strategy and action plans as detailed at Appendix A, B, C, and D to the report. Okay. Endorse formal adoption of the play pitch strategy and indoor built facility strategy.
Thanks, Kachita. Are there any questions on the report? Oh, yes. David first.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just one or two. The report doesn't mention the disused tennis courts on Ravensbrook Road. I was surprised because they've been sitting there next to the school, next to Puttridge High School for some time and unused. I wondered why the report didn't mention that. If I can just go through the list, it isn't that long, just so I can be sure. The report is suggesting that the Denby High School pool is still waiting refurbishment. I thought it had been done. The other point that I picked up was on there was mention of the indoor bowls at the top of the Stockingstone Road, and saying that the indoor bowling club would benefit from the sale. I didn't think they were going to benefit from the sale, and I thought we as a council had committed to relocating them. So perhaps you'd like to cover those for me.
Thank you. On the first part, I'm not quite. Yeah.
Oh, yes, thank you, Councillor, for the question. So with the tennis courts, we're working with the Parks team around those, and potentially some investment into those. But currently, the three key tennis courts that we put investment in Wardown Park, Memorial Park. So is it not coming through very well?
Oh, sorry.
Is that any better, Councillor? Any better? Is that better? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so although the tennis courts didn't feature in the playing pitch strategy as such, we do have plans around tennis, and they are part of our plans going forward. Does it keep breaking out? I'll try a different mic.
Sorry, but it's very, very difficult to hear what you're saying for me over here anyway.
I think what they were trying to say is that it's not inside this report. However, there is work being done around the investment around tennis courts in Wardown Park and other parks. Is that correct?
Yes. So all the tennis courts are still part of that. And although it hasn't featured in this report, we are working with our parks team around driving investment into our existing playing pitch locations. So those tennis courts, although not here, I can affirm that they are part of our plans and will be considered as part of any refurbishments as we go forward. But the principal investment in tennis so far has been across 3 main sites in Luton, which is Lucy Park, Memorial Park and Moordown. So that's where we've had investment in tennis so far. But we'll also be looking at the tennis courts within schools as well, if that's helpful.
What about the other questions? What about the indoor bowls centre, which the site is up for sale? My understanding is that as a council we committed to relocate them if the site was sold. My other understanding is that the report is suggesting that the bowls centre would gain benefit from the sale of the site. My understanding is that it will not.
Yeah, my current understanding of that situation is that the bowls pitch would be retained on the site. So although the sports club would go and the residential buildings be put in, the bowls club would be retained on site. We are still working with them around potential relocation, but as things currently stand, the bowls clubs aren't currently open to integrating with other clubs. So we're continuing that conversation with them, but my understanding is that would be retained currently.
My last conversation with the chairman of the Indoor Bowls Club, which wasn't very long ago, was suggesting that it would not remain on the site.
I'll pick that up, and we can bring a comment back to you, councillor, on that.
Concerning the pool at Denby High School, I thought it had been refurbished now, but maybe I'm misinformed.
No, the work hasn't been taking place in Denby. I think there's still discussions going on with the school around the repair work at the pool.
I know the school had allocated funds, but I didn't know how far it had gone. I thought the school was now advertising for swimming lessons, so I'd made the assumption it was done.
The work hasn't been carried out. Can I confirm that? No.
Thank you, Chair.
No.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for the report. It's very comprehensive. I know a lot of work's gone into it. The only question I have, I know at policy group there were quite a number of discussions. Have all those discussions, not all those comments been incorporated and updated in this report?
Yes, councillor. So we've taken actions on those. We're still just working on some of the consultation piece around that, just to get some affirmation that clubs were engaged. But as we are currently aware, is that all sports clubs were given the opportunity to participate within the consultation.
Okay. Javeria.
Thank you, Chair. My questions, I suppose, are similar somewhat to the deputy leaders. Firstly, Appendix B, the report's drafted October 2024. So I'm presuming, given that we're now in January 2025, nothing substantive has changed or material?
No, that's right, councillor. So we've been updating it as we've gone along, and actually we paid a bit of further investment following the changing of the ward boundaries, etc., and things as well. So we've made sure it's as up to date as possible. So when if we were to adopt this strategy, there'd be no conditional change.
Okay, and the second follow-on is that obviously, given that the education department falls within my remit, I just want to seek assurance that you have further to a previous comment I made when I saw an earlier draft of this, that you have actually consulted or at least reached out to the education department, given that, obviously what we are looking to do is work together in partnership as opposed to working in silos, given that they have a remit within schools as well.
Yes, 100%. We're engaging with the educational team, and we're due to meet in the next few weeks with Paul Wagstaff.
Finally, with regards to the question from Councillor Wynne, I paid a visit to Denby High School. I think it was late November, early December, and insofar as my information was concerned, that the swimming pool isn't yet open, still in the process of seeking funds for refurbishment. But that's may have changed since then, but that's what my impression was when I was there. And, obviously the principal told me.
Thank you. Useful update, because the report was referring back quite a long time. And I thought that in the meantime it's been done, because they were advertising on social media for swimming lessons. That's all.
No, that's fine. But that's just, like I said, when I paid a visit back in November early December, but things could have changed since then. Who knows? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Javeria. Tom?
Yeah, want to comment on the Bowls Club. Apart from the Bowls Club, we made a commitment as a council to keep the bowling greens there if our bid was accepted for the Bowls Club. Our bid was vastly outbid by private contractors. Roger, who's here tonight, has been in negotiations with them. We've identified an alternative site, but only if we get part of the housing for the Bowls Club. If we don't get part of the housing, why would we assist private developers to make millions of pounds and have the cost of giving away land elsewhere for the Bowls Club? That's where it stands at the moment, but the developers haven't even put a planning application in yet. I don't think you're going to see one with the amount of money they paid for that club for a long while to make it stack up. We're aware of what's going on. We have got some arrangements in place, but the developers are going to have to work with us to make sure it's a deal that's satisfactory to the Bowls Club, the council and them. We know what's going on, where we'd like them to go, everything else. For the moment, there's nothing on paper. The only thing we know is our bid was outbid by over £3 million, £3.5 million. And I can't see how they can develop that without some big properties at the value they pay for the land. So we're waiting for them now to come and approach us. That's where we are. The second question is, how further forward are we with the step 5 pitch? Stockwood Park was identified, but it's not mentioned again in the report.
Yes, Councillor, so that's still an option that we're exploring. We're also exploring how we can retain athletics at the site as well. So there's a lot that we still need to go through and a lot that needs unpicking, but it's still our preferred site, but we may need to look at alternatives as well moving forward.
We're looking at the whole of Stockwood Park at the moment, the master plan. That will come back to members at a later stage. Okay. Okay. Did I have anybody else? James, sorry.
I was going to ask the same thing about the step 5 football facility.
Oh, well, yeah.
So yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Everybody's keen on the step 5 football stadium. Okay. Any other questions, comments from anybody? No? Happy to agree the report. Thank you very much. Thank you for attendance. We've no business not covered by the current board special urgency. But we do have a reference from committees, and we've got a reference from Petitions and Representation Board regarding the relocation of Kingsway Depot. Over to yourself, James.
Sorry, I haven't seen a brief. I assumed it was going to be the Petitions and Representation Board that did the report on this, but I did attend the meeting where it occurred.
Sorry, Chair, is it relevant for the purposes of this that I'm actually a Dalla Ward resident?
Are you sorry? What
Is
did you
it relevant for the purposes of this particular item that it's referring to Kingsway Depot, which obviously is in Dalla Ward, and I'm a resident in Dalla? Does that particularly matter or not?
No.
No? Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm looking at the Deputy Chief Secretary. No, you're okay.
Okay, thank you.
I got you down as for you, James. Is it? Yes, it's yours. Okay.
I'll take it on. I thought it'd be the Petitions Board that would do it, but yeah, I'll take it there. So yeah, I attended the meeting and there were a few residents came in, and I think they were concerned about flies. They'd been causing a nuisance around their area, and they petitioned the council, presented evidence that they felt that was the source was from the depot. I think the officers had a look and agreed that there were some issues, and they'd take a look at some practices and see what they need to do to change. And there was also a request that we, in the long term, we potentially look at relocating the depot. And I think a lot of us can agree that it's probably not ideally located in the middle of a residential area, but we do know it's going to take a lot of work to try and do. So I think we agreed the recommendations put forward by the petitions board, and we're happy to take them forward and look at them in longer term.
Okay.
Will that do?
David was first, then Javed.
Just one comment, Chair, if I may. I didn't see any reference in the report to the local residents being given any form of hotline number. I would have thought that it would have been helpful for the residents to have a hotline number. I don't recall seeing it in the report.
I think there was a number given out, David, but Javed, can you answer that? No. Can you answer it, Javed?
So they've agreed to have regular set up a working group with the residents so that they will have contact, a regular contact, but that's separate. That one of the recommendation was to set up a working group.
I saw the reference to the working group and welcome that. It just seemed to me that it would be a good idea if there was an emergency number, a hotline number, at least to the chairman of that working group, if to nobody else.
So I think that working group will evolve that number, because obviously there are a number of different departments at that.
More than happy if that's going to happen.
Javed?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, obviously I was at that petition board, and as is not detail, I think now we should at least, because we said we would, is that something comes back to policy group on this to say what sites we've looked at, what work we've done, and we can have a report back to policy group. Or back to policy group.
Okay. Yeah, no, it will come back. It will come back, but it's there's probably a lot of work got to be done before it can go anywhere, to be honest. Yeah. Javeria?
Thank you very much, Chair. Firstly, I agree with what Councillor Winner said about a hotline. That would be particularly helpful. Second of all, I actually do welcome this report. It's obviously very important for residents, particularly who are impacted within the immediate vicinity. Insofar as the working group is concerned, perhaps I may have missed it in the papers, but could we ensure that the ward councillors are actually involved in that discussion as part of the working group, because it's really important.
Yeah, they were involved.
Were they involved?
They were. They
Okay,
were
that's
involved.
fine. That's all
Yeah,
I'm checking.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, they definitely were. Okay, are we happy to agree the recommendation? Thank you very much. We've no recommendations from scrutiny reviews or petitions. So we move on to the smoke and vape free policy refresh. Over to you, Kachita.
Thank you. The Luton smoke-free policy was introduced in 2015. The policy had minor revisions agreed in 2018 through executive. In August 2023, the policy name was amended to smoke and vape-free policy and included updated total wellbeing Luton offers. The policy has been further revised in 2024, and the proposed draft below includes updates which has an emphasis on supporting staff to quit, guidance on video conferencing and practical view on staff who are required to wear PPE. These proposed updates are aligned to Luton Tobacco Control Strategy 2023 to 2028 and smoke-free generation government plans. Recommendations to executive is to recommend to approve the updated smoke-free policy as attached at Appendix A to this report.
Thank you, Kachita. Are there any questions on the report? Are we happy to agree? Thank you very much. Can I take the regulation as read, please? And our colleagues leave